process which engine in a car that's really been built in the family, well, he said shed. I'm sure it's more than a shed, but I think he was just being probably a little less honest in terms of the engineering that the family have, that they were able to build this thing in their own back garden in reality. Through goes Mike Gemby, leading the race by just over half a second from Matt Brooks. So we've still got James Taylor hanging on to third position, but Morton Dons and James Abbott are absolutely with him. And it's amazing how quickly these cars get back round again. Already first flying lap, James, 1 minute 55.838. So you get a lot of performance for your money, don't you, out of one of these?
You do. I mean, the Revolutions consistently in testing have been doing 148, 149. We expect to see that later on today. They're on more of an endurance spec of tyre as well, with the Dunlop tyre there on the Revolution. So we might see a little bit of drop off from the two leaders as well. They're on a softer Pirelli tyre, that's because there's no rules in that regulation. But what we are seeing still here is James Taylor looking very confident in the Revolution. But moving on from Revolution, you mentioned about the Chamberlains. It was lovely to have the Chamberlain father and son team here. So we've actually got Matt Chamberlain and his father Richard Chamberlain sharing the car. And as you say, it's a self-developed car with a Honda Type R engine in there, and it's beautiful. And it's Richard Chamberlain who, over the years, has been thrilling us with that Porsche 935 replica in many GT championships. So they certainly know what they're doing when it comes to endurance race cars.
Yeah, they do. Mike Gemby is now, I'm afraid to say, down into second position. James Taylor's still there in third place, but Morton Dons is right with him, and James Abbott isn't too far away as well. Side by side for the lead of the race up towards Richie's corner. Mike Gemby's got the inside line, goes back through to take the lead of the race, and there wasn't a great deal that Martin Brooks could do about it because the door was open, and very quickly Mike Gemby was alongside. So Mike Gemby briefly off the lead of the race. Last time through, Martin Brooks, despite losing the lead of the race by the time they got towards Richie's, actually set the fastest lap that we've had so far. A 1 minute 51.521 from him, but it is now going to be Mike Gemby that retakes up the lead of the race.
It is. It's been an interesting battle for that lead in the Unlimited Open class, because you've got the very powerful Gemby car, but the Radical PR6 is tiny and nimble and weighs only about 400 kilos, and it's another Phil Abbott production. That was the original Radical of 20 years ago, and that's got a particularly highly strung Hayabusa engine in that one, and they're very evenly matched over one lap, so we'll watch that. But I'm very impressed with James Taylor. He's been racing Caterhams and then Radicals. He's done the One Revolution race, but to have a pro driver like Morton Dons behind him after such an impressive start is very impressive. I think that will be a highlight of his car magazine feature next month.
Yeah, a few good column inches off that one. Phil will be smiling. He'll be happy with that. The orange Chamberlain CTR01 of Dad, Richard Chamberlain, father. Through go the leaders. Gemby in the lead, Martin Brooks in second position. Then the next three cars flashing their way through, the Revolution A1s of James Taylor, Morton Dons and James Abbott. Matthew Chamberlain has, I think, had a problem. Yeah, he's had a spin coming around through Coram, Richard Chamberlain's had a spin coming around through Coram. Will rejoin, but that's going to drop him right the way down towards the tail end of the field, I'm afraid. And I think into the pit lane with problems has come the second of the Radical PR6s that we've got. So it might be something for Matt Suckling down there in the pit lane to be able to report to us, because Alistair Smart is in the pit lane and the bodywork is off.
And that's a pity, because Alistair Smart raced with us at Brands Hatch and he was really competitive. He was part of the the open battle lead for the in that class. So he's a teammate to Martin Brooks, who's in second place at the moment. In the Revolution Trophy, it's obviously that battle for the top three. It's actually three different teams as well. James Taylor is racing for Nigel Greensall Motorsport, and Nigel Greensall's well known, racing everything from historic Formula One. He's racing in Monza himself this weekend, so James is substituting and doing an excellent job. Drivers at the Le Mans 24 Hours and in the Le Mans, the Le Mans Cup. James Abbott's car is being run by Accelerate Motorsport, the British Touring Car Championship team.
So, yeah, it's not just on the race leaders, the next three going through the lead battle, first, second and third of the Revolution A1 category now, still in the same order. They are still not separated by a great deal at all. And is that Matt with news from the pit lane? No.
Yeah, and in the battle behind that top three, we've got Richard Wells having his first Revolution race. Now Richard is normally a rally driver, racing also in racing radicals, but rallying a Fiesta, so very versatile. He's holding off Chris Hoy. I think we all know about Chris being Britain's greatest Olympian when it comes to the number of gold medals won, but also is, for the last 5 years, better known as a race driver. His LMP2 debut at Le Mans in 2016. He's been racing in British GT. He's been doing some Caterham racing this year and Rallycross.
And also we've had a change for third position, and that's a change for the Revolution class as well. Morton Dons was able to sneak his way through there and grab the place away from James Taylor on the run in towards Agostini, and now James Taylor is finding himself a preference. Almost is able to squeeze his way through, but he hasn't. Back through ahead of Mike Chempey. The lead in the race, so first and second have swapped around, third and fourth have swapped around, and James Abbott is the only one in the top five, and last time we looked was still sitting in the same place that he was. Mike Chempey heading into the pit lane, so well race Morton Dons up to second place, James Abbott up into third position, and I'm afraid to say down to fourth is James Taylor. So not sure what the problem is for the gun, but I can see that Matt Suckling is striding purposefully in that general direction to try and understand what the problem is. I think he was about to head back out onto circuit, Mike Chempey, then stalled the engine and is now trying to fire the gun back into life again before he rejoins the race. I can also see that Alistair Smart's Radical PR6 that had all the bodywork off is now furiously, that bodywork being put back on again, and should be able to rejoin. Matt, what news from the pit lane? He's finding it out, he's talking to the mechanics, so we're having a chat to them and then we'll chip in with what the problem was. Mike Chempey rejoining the race. Alistair Smart several laps adrift now joining the race. So all of a sudden from having two cars in the pit lane we are left with none. And Matt, news?
Yeah, sorry about that, Mark. Alistair Smart, first off, seems like there might have been a gear selection problem, so they're trying to sort that one out, and they may have just got that done. So he's back out on track. Carried on, so Mike Chempey had that check, team said nothing wrong, now back on the
particularly with the speeds that these cars will be carrying through, not just down the straights but round the corners as well because of the aerodynamics of them. But yeah, to then come in because you've got concerns and be given the thumbs up and say off you go again. Morton Dons cannot shake away James Abbott, can he?
No, and that's the battle for the overall Revolution Trophy win as well, and it's a significant one. You've got the really the two pro drivers in the field here. I mean, Morton Dons has that experience of being in European Le Mans Series. James Abbott, of course, has done all the development work on as well, and we know the British Formula 4s has given us talent like Lando Norris, and it's a tough arena, so we've got a real battle there of talent between Dons and Abbott. James Taylor finding, I think, a comfortable third place now, but it's that Wells and Hoy battle for 5th and 6th overall that I think is the one to watch.
Yeah, that's number 78, which is Richard Wells, coming under pressure from the Revolution Art car, for want of a better term. The number 81 car in the hands of Chris Hoy with it.
No, we decided to do an art car competition to celebrate our first World Championship. A phenomenal array of entries come in, and the winner is here today. Justin Lyle, who's driven all the way from Glasgow to Snetterton to see his own car in action. He's driven now by Scott as well. Revolutionary flight on the side of the car. If you look closely, you see a shouting man, kind of symbolising the protest of revolutions. And also the colours of it around the engine cover is the map of Spa in a Belgian flag as well, to celebrate that first World Endurance Championship race. And then touchingly with a tribute to Antoine Hubert as well, on there as well. So Justin, if you're hearing this, I hope you're proud to see your car in action being driven by an Olympian.
Absolutely, and the fellow Scott as well. And you can't listen to the commentator. There are so many cars that look broadly similar in colour. There's no mistaking that particular car of Sir Chris
because
Hoy.
he went into the pits and lost 3 laps.
Second and third in the race. They're just heading up towards the braking area.
Guns disappeared again.
Now, Morton Dons cannot shake away James Abbott. Last time round, they both pushed each other to do fastest laps that they have individually done over the course of this race. For Morton Dons, his best lap. Slightly quicker now, actually, 1 minute 50.920. The overall fastest lap of the race that we've had, but a couple of laps ago now, by the race PR6 in the hands of He's also now managed to open up his lead advantage to 11.1 seconds, so here will come Martin over the start-finish line now. The problems and concerns, I'm afraid to say, for Mike, Genvy and the Genvy Gun continue. That's something there. Mike's now out of the car. And the race is all the front.
That leading radical has now pulled into the pits.
In the pit lane, a race leader, and the mechanics are looking around the back
All
of the
the
car.
open class cars are having problems.
James, is for the lead of the race between Morton Dons and James Abbott.
Well, I did say at the beginning those cars were designed for endurance racing, but they're also designed for more than 15 minutes. So it's great that we've now got that battle for the lead. Maybe the open class drivers. Did I send them a set of regulations that said they have to do a compulsory pit?
Now it's Martin Brooks in the number 99 car. He's out of the car, but I think Matt Suckling probably has some news in the pit lane for us.
Yeah, you're right. A race without pit stops. We've had quite a few, haven't we, during this 30-minute encounter? But Martin Brooks, unfortunately, the drive shaft has snapped on that car, so that is no more for this race. So that one is out. And with Mike Genvy, he still wasn't happy with the front splitter. He thought there was something wrong. So he's now come in and started doing the work out on the car himself. So he's having a look at the splitter. He thought it might be the tyre pressures, but no, he's having a look at that splitter and towards the front of the car. So Mike Genvy is possibly going to get out for a couple of laps if there's time.
but drive shaft racing. Maybe it's just sort of, through the tight corners possibly, or maybe coming out of Murray's on these cars. How much does it stress a PR6, the drive shaft?
Well, it's these are very modified cars, and the PR6 was designed for the original Radical Challenge 20 years ago. Prolific radical racer himself, and also works for the Bridgewater and Taunton College as well in bringing up young engineers. He's got the right people working on that car, and let's hope he can get it fixed for race 2, which is going to happen at 4:45 today. And I'm sure with the talent he's got in his team, he'll get it fixed.
Now, a couple of things to watch really, that is that we still have Sir Chris Hoy clinging on to the coattails of Richard Wells. Now Richard Wells is number 78, Sir Chris Hoy is the art car that sits there in 5th position. There's a second and a half between the pair of those, but we've also now got Richard Chamberlain at the wheel of the orange number 5 CTR01, starting to work its way back through the order following its problems down at Corham. It's now caught the pack again, and is closing in on number 82 Mark Hignett, who has dropped a ninth on that lap because number 55 Peter Brooks also is turning his way out of Oggies in pursuit of has now managed to fully catch up, hasn't he, with the car that he was trying to hunt down. Another former radical racer, Mark Hignett. I think nearly every one of the drivers in your Revolutions has raced radicals at some point.
It very much is the from radical to revolution story here. Yeah, every one of the revolution drivers has been a radical driver in the past. Taylor in SR1, Chris Boy in SR1, the rest of them in SR3. And that includes the last production race cars over the last 20 years, but the drivers are looking to the next level, and there is a level there between Radical and LMP3, and this is what these drivers are sampling, and they're making that commitment.
Where are the cars built as well? I know Radical obviously was based at Peterborough, but where are Abbott Automotive basing themselves?
Abbott Automotive are based in Peterborough.
Right, I did wonder, yeah.
Peterborough has probably produced
North Cambridgeshire, very South Lincolnshire is synonymous with motorsport, because of course Bourne, which is only just north of Peterborough and isn't far from where the Abbott family live, was renowned for ERA and BRM, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed, with Radical and Revolution in Peterborough, and of course Lola were in Huntingdon. They know how to make race cars in that part of the world. There must be something in the Fen water.
10 minutes to go, so 2/3 of the race done and dusted. Let's give you a rundown through the order. Number 8, Morgan Gold. Waiting for an opportunity, but it hasn't ever been there as yet because Morton has been driving so well in second place at the 74. But not that far behind him still is Sir Chris Hoy. Over the course of the last few laps, Chris has just dropped back a little bit, I'm afraid to say, at the wheel of the number 81 art car. Completing the top 6 is car number 76, which is Barry Liversidge. 7th at the moment is 44, which is Matt Brooks. 8th is number 55. Richard Chamberlain, of which Matt Simply, is that your line that's open? Now he's changed it here in the commentary. It's difficult, I can hear an open mic, I'm not sure which one it is. So yeah, Matt will bring us, hopefully, there he is, Matt, news with regards to the cars in the pit lane.
Yeah, here now, with Richard Chamberlain, he had a spin at Murray, so I think he's finding that Honda quite a handful, so he's brought it in and he's going to have a quick chat with Matt. In terms of Mark Hignett, in the other car that's at the far end of the pit lane, closer to you, I'll go and investigate that one, but yeah, a few problems for most of the open class cars actually. The Revolution seems to be quite okay.
Second spin now that maybe it's just worth checking out the problem.